You know that sinking feeling in your stomach when you see a transaction you don't recognize? It's awful. But listen, don't panic. Finding out you're a victim of fraud feels overwhelming, for sure, but having a clear plan is how you take back control. In this explainer, we're going to walk you through a precise step-by-step action plan to lock down your finances and get you on the road to recovery. Just a quick heads up before we dive in, this is part 4 of a 5-part series. It's all based on the consumer guide on protecting yourself from digital wallet and linked bank account fraud from Virtualization Options LLC. And we're presenting it as a public service, to help keep you safe out there. So here's our game plan for today. We've broken it all down into 6 clear parts. We'll start with what to do right now, then get into damage control, official reporting, a digital cleanup, long-term monitoring, and finally, taking back control. Think of this as your roadmap for getting through this whole mess. All right, let's get right into it. Section 1, what to do now. Seriously, the things you do in these first few moments can make a world of difference. This right here, this says it all. Time is absolutely your enemy. Every single minute that goes by is another chance for a scammer to do more damage. Your #1 goal is to stop them in their tracks, and you have to do it now. Okay, moving on to our second section, immediate actions. This is your checklist for the very first hour. These are the things you absolutely have to do to stop the financial bleeding and start building a defensive wall. So what are those critical first steps? Where do you even start? First things first, freeze any account that's been compromised. Open up your banking or wallet app and look for that lock or freeze button. That'll stop any new transactions cold. Second, change your passwords. And I don't just mean for the one account. I mean your digital wallet, your email, your banking, all of them. Third, if you somehow haven't already, turn on two-factor authentication on everything. It is a massive security upgrade. And finally, you gotta start making some calls. Report the fraud to your bank, your digital wallet provider, and any credit card companies involved. So, what is two-factor authentication, or 2FA? Basically, it means that even if a crook steals your password, they still can't get in without a second piece of info, usually a code. Now, here's a pro tip. If you have the choice, always use an authenticator app instead of getting codes through text message. Why? Because criminals can actually hijack your phone number in something called a SIM swap attack, and then they'll get your text codes. An app isn't tied to your number, so it's way, way more secure. Okay, Section 3 is all about official reporting. Once you've stopped the immediate damage, your next job is to create a paper trail. Trust me, having this official record is absolutely essential when you're disputing charges and trying to get your money back. You're going to want to file reports with 4 main groups. Start with the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. Next, get in touch with your state's Consumer Protection Office. You should also file a report with your local police. Now, they might not be able to investigate, but that report itself is crucial documentation. And finally, make sure you formally report it to the fraud department of your digital wallet provider. I'm telling you, that FTC report is probably the single most important piece of evidence you'll have. You can do it right online at reportfraud.ftc.gov. Doing this not only gives you an official record for your disputes, but it also gives the authorities vital data to help them track and fight these scammers. So don't skip this step. Now for Section 4. We're shifting from defense to offense here with a digital cleanup. It's time to scrub that compromised information from every single corner of your digital life. And this is a really, really critical point to understand. Freezing an account is a great first step, but it's just temporary. A card number that's been compromised is compromised forever. The only permanent fix is to get it completely replaced. So here's your cleanup checklist. First, go into every single digital wallet you have, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, you name it, and delete those compromised cards. Second, think about all the online stores where you saved that card, Amazon, Netflix, all your subscription services. Go in and remove it. Third, and this is the most important one, call your banks and ask for brand new cards with completely new numbers. And finally, you just gotta be patient. Don't add any payment info back into your apps or websites until the fraud investigation is totally done and you have that new plastic in your hand. Okay, on to Section 5, long-term monitoring. So you've secured your accounts, you've cleaned up your digital footprint, you might think you're in the clear, but the work isn't quite over. Now you have to stay vigilant to protect yourself from identity theft down the road. This timeline here shows you exactly what to do and when. Immediately, like right now, pull your free credit reports from all 3 bureaus. Within the first week, place fraud alerts on your files. By week 2, you should seriously consider a full credit freeze for maximum protection. And then, for at least the next year, you need to be monitoring all of your financial accounts on a weekly basis. So, what's the actual difference between a fraud alert and a credit freeze? Well, think of a fraud alert as a little red flag on your file. It tells lenders to take extra steps to verify it's really you. It's good protection. A credit freeze, on the other hand, is a total lockdown. It blocks anyone, including you, from opening new credit in your name until you lift that freeze. It is by far the strongest protection you can get against new account fraud. And guess what? It's free to place and to remove. And a very, very important note here, there is only one official government-authorized website to get your free credit reports. It's annualcreditreport.com. Please be careful because there are tons of lookalike sites out there that will try to trick you into paying for services you don't actually need. All right, let's bring it all home. Our final section is about taking back control. All this hard work leads to this moment. So let's go over a few final tips for when you talk to your bank so you can get the best possible resolution. When you call your bank or credit card company, don't just talk to the first person who picks up the phone. You need to ask to be transferred to a dedicated fraud resolution specialist. These are the experts. When you get them on the line, ask them specifically about their zero liability and fraud reimbursement policies. And finally, get a crystal clear understanding of what documentation they need from you, like that FTC report we talked about, to process your claim and get your money back. I know this has been a ton of information, but the good news is you now have a complete action plan. The goal isn't to make you paranoid, it's to make you prepared. So, the question I'll leave you with is this. Now that you have the plan, do you feel ready to act quickly and confidently if this ever happens to you? This entire explainer was based on the comprehensive consumer guide from Virtualization Options LLC. By following these steps, you can turn a moment of total panic into a process of taking back control. Thanks for joining me. Stay safe and stay vigilant.